John is a software engineer, and he approached the keto diet much like he approaches his work. Very methodical and reproducible in outcomes.
I work with computers, so the computers do what you tell them to do, okay? They don't just arbitrarily decide to not work one day. There's a cause to a program failing. And if your body's failing, that's what I always thought. There must be something causing it. Now, initially, everybody tells you, oh, you're just overweight. That's what it is. It's your weight. But then as you start unpacking some of the stuff about glucose, insulin, and inflammation, you start realizing that, well, yeah, weight is kind of an indicator, but it's not what's causing it.
Years of increasing weight and chronic inflammation led John to a life filled with high blood pressure, gout, and joint pain. One of the worst stories that I have to share is I have this woman who needs to have her knee replaced. She comes in, she has terrible knee pain. I put her on the ketogenic diet saying we got to reduce the weight because she was too heavy for the surgical table. She loses like 50 pounds in about 4 months, goes on to lose 100 pounds, and because of all the schedules and COVID and stuff, she doesn't follow up with this surgeon until late in the year. She's now coming back for her pre-op physical. And as I'm evaluating her, I want to hear about the pain. She goes, oh, it's all gone. I said, well, why are you going to cut your knees out then? And she's like, because my insurance approved it. And I'm like, no, no, don't do it for that reason. As he considered removing and replacing his hips, this seemed like the right answer. But 7 surgeries later, he realized he might have had a different option had he known about the ketogenic diet.
I actually had 7 surgeries for the 2 hips.
Wow.
I got an infection, and then they had to revise it a little bit, and then it still got infected, so they put in a antibiotic spacer to get rid of the infection, and then the spacer dislocated, and I had to have a surgery on that. And then they put the hip in, and then my other hip went in just fine with no infection, but then after a year it broke.
Oh, no.
The stem broke on it. So always said it felt like a paper cut, really, the healing process, other than the infection and stuff, everything was great. So I thought it was great. But now, after going keto, I'm like, well, did I really need to do that? Could I have gotten rid of the symptoms by eating properly? And yeah, once I started doing lower carb, started reducing carbs, and then as they got even lower, back into the 20s, like you teach, then I didn't have the inflammation. It's been over a year, like I said, since I've had a gout attack and achy joints and stuff. And when I do go out like socially and I'm like, okay, I'm on a social outing with everybody, I'm going to go ahead and eat socially and not worry about it today. The next day, or even later that evening, you start feeling the aches and pains coming back from that raised up insulin.
When John took the online course, Consistently Keto, he really used his engineering approach to measure, find outcomes, and then reproduce that. One thing he was sure he didn't need was a support group. After attending a support group several weeks and now months later, he finds that support group gives him the next tiny step forward in his success.
Up until this last weekend, I had not even done a 48-hour fast. I had done about 23-1, I think, was about the longest I had done. And so after you came to our group last week, I was like, well, maybe I should. And so I did a 48-hour, and it did not kill me at all. It was great.
If you want to track your progress like an engineer, click on this link and download the free spreadsheet. If you want to learn more about how gout and keto go together, check out this video. I'll see you there.